Yo, hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm gonna get right into it because I'm excited. This week's gonna be a fun one. Whichever way the market goes, it should be pretty interesting to say the least. Um, the Fed came out and spoke on what was it? Wednesday? I believe it was Wednesday. Might have been Thursday. One or the other. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Either way, the Fed came out and said they weren't gonna raise the rates. The GDP forecast was lowered. Definitely not a good sign. You don't want to ever see that. And the computers ended up buying up the market and then immediately dumping it into the close, and all of the afternoon gains were erased. Then it was followed by a huge day. Okay, so it was Wednesday. That's right. So we had that huge green day here on Thursday. Super strong. Came up, took new highs out of this short term balance, and then ultimately stalled at our two 285.07 range. That was our top resistance level. Um, it should be interesting because we had that powerful green day followed by a super weak day coming out. We were really just trending down all morning long, as you can see, following the 13 EMA, this white line, holding the downtrend the entire time. Um, we did find some sort of support here at the 279.81 price level, but that ended up breaking into the close, and we set new lows in the last 5 minutes on some pretty heavy volume. Um, Definitely something to keep in mind. Also, I want to note that on the daily chart, we closed below the 13 EMA and below the middle Bollinger Band. As you can see here, the MACD rejected an upside convergence, and now we are coming out on the downside. As you can see, we posted another um, red histogram there showing some negative momentum. This is leading me to believe that it's possible that if we open up lower than the lows on Friday, below the lows on Friday, we have a chance to retrace to this middle balance from this range and at the 275 level, which is right where that lower Bollinger Band will be. Um, with that being said, I have that target pointed out with this white dotted line. It's a pain in the ass to see all this, I know, but you'll thank me because this is every single support and resistance line we need to trade any sort of pullback or upside move. Um, with that being said, this dotted white line is located at 275.64. Go to the weekly chart. Um, we had the multi-top. As you can see, we had some sort of consolidation. We were setting new highs, set new highs last week, but look where that candle closed, right below that key level. Now that's telling me that the bulls weren't ready to really make that next move up. As you can see, it looks like they're getting pretty tired. Now, are we going to get some sort of form of consolidation and pull back into that support level, which would ultimately be healthy to cool off some of these indicators? Give the market a little bit of a rest, maybe trade sideways for a week or two, and ultimately make a move higher to chase those all-time highs. If not, we have room to the bottom here at this 259.60 in the long term. Even here, this is probably the better representation at 264.46. This level, this is the bottom of that balance, bottom of this range. As you can see, the top failed so far. That's going to be a very key level next week. It's going to be our first upside target, most likely at that 281.27 range. Simply because if we can't get above these highs, this is going to stall and roll over. Now, that's not saying we're going to test the bottom of this balance in one shot, but ultimately we got to look at the bigger picture. As you can see, the Bollinger Bands have tightened up. The 13 EMA is now pointing sideways. This might be a time to look for a change in momentum, a change in trend. As you can see, we had a pretty healthy pullback once already, and it got bought up. Not too much prevailed, though, because we didn't really hold the highs. That's something to keep in mind. We had a pretty big volume day on Friday. It's certainly going to be interesting to see which way we go. We're either going to test that 281 range, or we're probably going to pull back to that 275 level. Obviously, it's always one candle at the time, but um, our watch list is probably going to remain the same this week. Facebook, HP, and Bank of America. You could really look at all the financials if you want. I don't enjoy trading Bank of America. Their options are fairly cheap, and the intraday movements are a bit more relaxed. But all the financials are breaking down in terms of their daily chart setup. So we'll take a look at the HP setup that we've been following ever since those earnings came out. So we had this long-term support at 1950. Um, we dipped below, about a point below, which ultimately was our first short setup. When that broke, we captured about a point on that move, and it ultimately regained to the top here. You could have bought on the breakout of this level as well at the 1950 breakout, and we, almost to about highs of 2030. But this top, it held on HP. That's a bearish sign. Also, if you look at our indicators, um, we closed below the 13 EMA, and we rejected the middle Bollinger Band. So we did close below support. So now what are we thinking? Are we going to start to test these lows again? As you can see, the daily MACD is posting lower highs. We are curling. This is a possible test of these lows again. If we fail to regain this 1951 level, which is going to act as resistance now, we can look for this to head lower until we, either get above this 13 EMA and hold it, or clear that middle Bollinger Band. But as of now, that is definitely something to keep an eye on going forward. Facebook, another solid setup, trading in that same range we've been focusing on. This has been a very tradable setup. I only like to trade the best setups out there on the larger time frame, so either the daily or the weekly. And I believe that these are the best for us going forward. This Facebook setup is great because we have a very clean channel to trade. We also have a gap to fill if these lows break on the downside. Definitely some room on the downside for sure before that gap gets filled. And like I said, even if that upside breaks, we break out of these middle EMAs and the middle Bollinger Band and that 13 EMA. If we could break out of that and we test these highs again, we have another play of about 6-7 points to the upside. And even if that breaks out, we have room to run again on Facebook. This is very tradable setup. You got to follow your indicators. As you can see, we're posting higher lows on the MACD. Will this break out of the 13 EMA and head higher, or will it reject and go back to test these lows again? Which is certainly possible. We have to keep it in mind. Obviously, the market goes in three different directions. It's either going to go up, down, or sideways. We got to be ready for whatever way the market decides to go. Whatever everybody else is doing, we really have to take advantage and really follow the overall trend of the market. That's the best way to attack and plan our week. So that's Facebook. Bank of America. This was a great play on Friday. I sent this out Friday morning. I caught this after those 3 straight sell-offs after the Fed came out. Pretty heavy volume on this, and we had that little bit, looked like an island top here. It broke, filled the gap down to the 2673 level. That held the support. If that breaks and those lows from Friday break, we have room down here, the 2609, which gives you a nice play to capture some moves. And obviously these lows, which was previous support, is now going to act as resistance on the upside if this stock does decide to bounce and some sort of money files into those financials. With that being said, it's definitely one to watch. They're pretty active, especially with the Fed coming out and releasing the news about the interest rates. That certainly had an effect on the financials. So we'll keep that on watch. I hope that gives you guys a clear roadmap and game plan going into this week. Obviously, you guys make your own decisions. I don't tell you when to buy or sell. I just provide analysis and some of the better trading setups out there for options traders, day traders, whatever you need. You could always come to me. My number and office is always open to you guys. So I'll see you in chat tomorrow. It should be a fun one. Bring your A game, all right? Talk to you guys later.